So back with another session here. In this session, I'll be continuing with the subtopics of video 1, that is anatomy of eye, layers and corneal anatomy. So the first, in this video, we'll be dealing about corneal blink reflex. And what is, let me read the points written here. It's written that afferent pathway, you have got something known as sensory fifth cranial nerve. Efferent pathway, there is something known as motor seventh cranial nerve to orbicularis oculi. And it's also written that clinical correlation, Bell's palsy is characterized by orbicularis oculi palsy. It leads to inability to blink called lag ophthalmos. So what is it trying to tell us? So let me take the section here and let me draw the points here. So you can see this is the brain part. Okay, this is an eyeball. Okay, and you can see the muscle. This is known as orbicularis oculi muscle, right? So the first point written here is, it's written that whenever you place a cotton on the cornea, you have an afferent pathway. That means the sensation which takes from the cornea to the brain, efferent pathway from the brain to the ocular region. So whenever you place a cotton on the cornea, the person blinks. Why does he blink? Because whenever you place a cotton on the cornea, the sensations, right, the sensory signals are carried by which nerve? That is a trigeminal nerve, right? Trigeminal nerve. And which part of trigeminal nerve we have to understand? And that is long ciliary nerve, right? A long ciliary nerve. So if you observe carefully here, this is a trigeminal nerve. The trigeminal nerve is divided into ophthalmic nerve, mandibular nerve and the maxillary nerve. So if you observe the concepts here, trigeminal nerve, the ophthalmic division, it is divided into three branches, right? The lacrimal nerve, which carries the sensory supply from the lacrimal gland, right? You got a conjunctiva and the lateral eyelid. And you have frontal nerve, which carries sensory from the conjunctiva, right? Eyelid, part of forehead. And you even have something known as nasociliary nerve. And this nasociliary nerve has got two branches, right? That means a long ciliary nerve and infratrochlear nerve. The long ciliary nerve supplies the nerve, right, gets the nerve signals from the cornea, ciliary body and the iris. Cornea, ciliary body, iris. And infratrochlear nerve, it gets the sensations from the conjunctiva. Then you have got something known as lacrimal sac. Then we have got something known as medial part of the eyelid. So that's the basic point we need to understand, right? So these are the points we need to understand. The first thing, the sensation which are carried from the cornea. Remember, right? The sensations which are carried from the cornea, right? The sensation which are carried from the cornea, it is by the long ciliary nerve, right? We have a long ciliary nerve, right, which is in turn mixed with nasociliary nerve, right? The nasociliary nerve, right, ophthalmic nerve, trigeminal nerve. So you can just remember this as TON, right? TONL, right? TON. T for trigeminal nerve, O for ophthalmic nerve, N for nasociliary nerve, L for long ciliary nerve. So now from the long ciliary nerve, then the nasociliary nerve, then the ophthalmic nerve, then the trigeminal nerve, it goes to the, where does it go? If you look into this, the blue line, it goes to the spinal trigeminal nucleus. So the brain receives a signals that somebody has placed a swab on the cornea. So it takes the signals from that and it moves here. And the next important point we need to understand here, from this spinal trigeminal nucleus, right, from this, now what does it do? The person starts blinking. And this is done by, or the signals from the brain through the periphery, and it is done by what? It is done by seventh cranial nerve, that is facial nerve. So if you look into this, so these are the signals, right? If from here it reaches to the spinal trigeminal nucleus. From there, if you look into this, this is a facial nucleus, right? And if you observe carefully, this is the facial nerve. and this facial nerve goes and supplies to the muscle, and this muscle is known as orbicularis oculi. Orbicularis oculi. So afferent pathway is trigeminal nerve and efferent pathway is seventh nerve. Efferent pathway is seventh nerve. So now they have asked the beautiful question here, clinical question. Bell's palsy is characterized by orbicularis ocular palsy. It leads to inability to blink called lag ophthalmos. Now what actually happens here is in Bell's palsy, right? Bell's palsy is characterized by orbicularis oculi palsy. So this is an orbicularis oculi. So in the Bell's palsy, there is a paralysis of orbicularis oculi muscle, right? There is paralysis of orbicularis oculi muscles. Since there is a paralysis of orbicularis, since there is a paralysis of orbicularis oculi, now we need to understand that there is no blinking. That means there is a reduced or decreased eye blinks. So once there is a decreased eye blinks, we need to understand that the lids are taken time to blink, so there is a lag in blinking, so we call that as lag ophthalmos. So that's the basic point we need to understand. Under this subtopic, there is a question given in our question bank, that is a 55-year-old male. There is a herpes zoster ophthalmicus, right? Herpes zoster ophthalmicus. There is no corneal reflex. In which nerve is involved? That is a long ciliary nerve, which is a branch of nasociliary nerve, internal branch of ophthalmic nerve, internal branch of trigeminal nerve. So this is a basic point we need to understand. Thank you.